Hello everyone, my name is Allyza, Jade, and Rosendal, and this is my video for the Transportation Management. I'm from Bachelor of Science in Tourism Management under Open University System Section 2D. So first of all, let's discuss about what is the history of transportation in the Philippines. Well, aren't you curious about how it all started and what kind of transportation do we have before, and do we really have a mode of transportation even before the Spanish era? Well, the answer is yes. Even before the Spanish colonial era, here in the Philippines, we already have our own kind of transportation, and that's what we call balangay. Balangay is basically a small boat that they made for water transportation, basically used for trade in and exchanging of products. However, during the Spanish colonial period, they started to introduce a different kind of transportation, which basically the galleons and calesa. Calesa is basically a carriage driven by a horse. And even nowadays in modern era, we still can see and experience the kalesa. All you need to do is just go ahead and visit um, different heritage site in the Philippines, like for example in Tamuros, and you will find kalesa and you can experience it at the first hand. Now, after the Spanish colonial era, we we next experience is the American period, which basically improve or upgrade our transportation system, because during this time they introduced the rail system, different kinds of vehicles, automobiles, and also the jeepney, of course, the um, iconic vehicles that even nowadays in modern era we still using them. Basically, jeepney came from the American military jeepney that they used during World War II. And after World War II, Filipinos see the chance to use this jeepney as a local mode of transportation, since they just live it here in the Philippines, and they basically recycle it and made it into our modern jeepney, which become an iconic and iconic vehicles in the Philippines, more like a trademark. That's how I see it. And then after that American period, we go to the postmodern to modern era, which is nowadays, and that's the time that they um, explore more about the transportation, because aside from the railways, they also started to improve our transportation, not just only in land and water, but also in air too. That's the time they introduced the airports, other other modes of transportation, like for example cruise ships, cargo ship to travel or to deliver a much larger amount of tools, equipments in different places, and of course the um, airports, the airplanes. Do you know that during pandemics, yes, we have a like nation level, more like an international level of lockdown, and because of that, airplanes wasn't able to perform how they were used before, like using people to travel different places, and instead the airports use this as a chance to transform their airplanes from commercial flights into a cargo ship, which basically helps transferring or transporting large amount of medical tools and equipments to different places, especially those places that needed them the most. So based on this, you can see how flexible our transportation is, not just in the Philippines but internationally.